Congressman Jim McGovern is back from a historic trip to Cuba with President Obama. Although it isn't the congressman's first time in Cuba, he says this trip could bring about changes. Our Olivia Lemmon spoke to him and has the details. Olivia?
Tricia, McGovern says he's been going to Cuba since he was in college, but this is the first time a president has gone in more than 80 years. McGovern hopes this trip will help lift travel restrictions and the economic embargo. It's been more than 80 years since a U.S. president has been to Cuba.
I thought it was a great trip. It was a historic trip.
Congressman James McGovern made the historic trip with President Obama. Back in Washington today, McGovern says the president deserves credit for doing something which should have been done a long time ago.
Our policy for the last 50 years has made no sense. The policy's been a relic from the Cold War.
McGovern says it's now up to Congress to lift travel restrictions and the economic embargo.
There are lots of business opportunities for our local businesses in Cuba, but they can't do business in any normal way unless Congress lifts all the restrictions that are now currently in law.
I want to see relations. And I think this is a way to do it. I think that opening up relationships and making people aware that there's a whole world outside.
Dr. Maddie Castile was born in Cuba and moved to the United States at 6 years old. She says she's only been back once on a missionary trip and hopes lifting the embargo will allow her to go back.
This is another method of how to do it, and for 50 years, however long the embargo has not worked, and this is a method that let's try something different and see if it works.
This gives people an opportunity to just say, hey, you know, we're not the villain here. We're hoping to work with you. And I think McGovern and Obama both make that very clear.
There isn't a large Cuban population in Worcester now, but McGovern says lifting the embargo will create positive relationships.
There's lots of kind of back and forth that can happen between Massachusetts-based research facilities and biotech companies and Cuban research facilities.
I think he also recognizes that communication is the way to bring about change, and that not communicating means not having any say in the policies.
Now, McGovern says the next steps are legislative. He says Congress needs to vote to lift its travel restrictions, and he has a bill that would do that. He also says that the Cubans were very excited to see President Obama, and they hope this trip will help create more opportunities for them. Tricia, back to you.
Thanks.